Have Manchester City hit rock bottom? Because if we have, the only way is up. I was having a chat with one of my subscribers suggesting that the result against Bournemouth was in fact rock bottom, but nope, there's more bottom to go apparently, and you're just hoping this is the end, because we've got Brighton coming up this weekend, and what a awful game that promises to be. It's going to be so difficult to face Brighton, who are playing good football this season. They've been unlucky to not get more points, and they've still done very well, even saying that. So they're going to be a very difficult team, but Manchester City are definitely going through some tough times right now, but arguably it could still be worse. And not even arguably, definitely. It could definitely be worse. I mean, for example, we could be 13th in the Premier League, 12 points to our name, and vicariously living through Sporting Lisbon, a club hundreds of miles away, and Manchester United fans are clinging on to their little slither of hope that they are still relevant. Focusing on Amorim's result. It was a fantastic result for Sporting Lisbon, and I do believe he's a great manager, and I think he'll do reasonably well for them, but that doesn't change the fact that their club is still rotten to the core. No matter what you do in terms of managers in and managers out, you've still got an absolute disaster class at that football club. So while we're sitting here feeling sorry for ourselves, they're happy. United fans are actually happy today. So doesn't it show where the standards are right now of the two football clubs, that Manchester City fans are gutted, we're down, we're in the dumps, we're feeling so low. But we're second in the Premier League. We're still well within a chance of progressing into the next rounds of the Champions League. We've got an FA Cup campaign to look forward to. We've got the 115 charges case to look forward to, because we're going to batter them in that one as well. And then when we get that to celebrate, we get to re-celebrate all of our trophies. But on top of that, you've now got United fans who are happy with their current circumstances, because they get to witness their up-and-coming manager beat Manchester City, as if they did something. What did they achieve last night? Absolutely nothing, because they're playing Thursday night against half of the alphabet, PAOK, whoever the fuck that is, on Thursday night. Good luck with them. You've already lost to a number. You're about to lose to the fucking alphabet, Manchester United. So, I mean, yeah, it could be worse being a Manchester City fan. It could be a hell of a lot worse. And you're just hoping it doesn't get worse, because it's been very, very difficult for Manchester City. Looking at these stats as well, it's alarming. The number of big chances as well, you can see there's 6 for Sporting Lisbon. It's concerning. I don't give a shit about the possession anymore, because it's meaningless. It's meaningless if you're one mistake away and leaving yourself so vulnerable at the back with this system of bringing every defender we could possibly send forward. It's crazy. It's getting crazy now, and Pep needs to address it. I still believe in Pep. I don't want to hear anything about Pep out, because that's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous to think Pep out. It's stupid, absolutely stupid. But what's crazy about this, I actually gained more confidence, believe it or not, and people are going to come at me. What I'm about to say, you are going to come at me in the chat. I know you are, definitely. But I gained more confidence from last night's result than I did the Bournemouth result. Because I saw something yesterday. I saw the first half. It should have been about 5-0 before half an hour. I was thinking, Foden's goal goes in, you're thinking, here we go, I'm starting to count, how many are we going to get? Because the chances that we were creating, chance after chance after chance, miss after miss after miss, wasteful opportunities, so wasteful. And then one bad pass from Savinho, which actually has gone down as a Rico Lewis error, and I'll get onto the stats in a minute for you, but it just goes to show that these stats can be warped very badly. Savinho giving the ball away to Savinho, completely underhit his pass. Away goes Victor Gyökeres, one-on-one situation, chips it straight to Ederson. We got away with it. But that was a real example of, that's happened all season. Every game that's happened this season, that we are one bad pass away from a one-on-one situation. And it's killing us. It's absolutely killing us. And it just all completely capitulated in that second half. The second half cannot be ignored, as much as I'm focusing on the positives that can be taken from the first half, because they were there. We played very good football in that first half an hour. It seems stupid to say that after a 4-1 loss, but that's the facts. We did play well. We created chances, but that second half was an absolute shambles. A complete capitulation defensively. All over the shop. Let's have a look at the player ratings. Ederson, giving him a 6. Not much you could do about all 4, in all honesty. I felt like it was a tough game for Ederson to concede 4 goals, but I don't felt like he had anything to do with any of them, really. Kept us in the game at 1-0, saves that chance against Victor Gyökeres. It's arguably more of a poor finish than a good save. But yeah, minus 1.43 goals prevented. I mean, we did concede 4, so that's not actually that bad. But 6 out of 10 for Edison. Akanji, second half, again, fell apart. I mean, where was he? You know, Simpson Pusey, who was in there as a kid. I mean, he was at fault for a lot of the goals, but he's a kid. 17-year-old, you need these guys to be stepping up and helping him. You know, they don't need, if you're playing in a Champions League game, Pep obviously trusts you. Clearly, Simpson Pusey needs to be understood as a kid, but at the same time, you're not a kid because you're being trusted by Pep Guardiola, the manager of all managers, to send you into a Champions League game. You know, so you've got to be, if you're going to play with the big boys, you've got to act like a big boy, you know. So Akanji, at the same time, I feel like he could have helped him a little bit. There were moments in the first half where he pocketed Victor Gyökeres. He was all over him. Any one-on-one situation, Akanji was dealing with him in the first half, but he just disappeared in the second half. No defensive solidity offered whatsoever from Akanji in that second half, and I was really disappointed in how much he just disappeared in the second half. Gvardiol giving him a 5. Can't ignore the catastrophic errors that was there was a catalogue of them in the second half. One, he gave the ball away and then tries to redeem himself by sprinting up behind Trincao and just clatters him, takes him out, penalty, stonewall penalty. Yeah, his worst performance of the season. And what's alarming is the fact that he's the one player we've been able to trust so much this season with some fantastic performances that have won us points. You know, you think about the goal at Newcastle. Yeah, overall, he's been a fantastic season, but really poor yesterday from Gvardiol. And the penalty was, it was detrimental to the momentum of Manchester City's yesterday, and it killed us. You know, so he has to get a 5. Simpson Pusey, or Pusey, whatever, or Pussy, whatever you want to call it nowadays. I wish him all the best. I bet he's woke up feeling so shit. I bet he feels so bad this morning. I feel so sorry for him, man. He's such a young lad. He gets an opportunity, gets his first proper senior start with Manchester City, and we concede 4. He will be feeling so bad, and I bet you he feels like it's his fault. And I mean, in fairness, a couple of the goals were, he held his hand up, he patted himself on the chest and went, sorry for their equaliser. I felt like he was at the heart of their second goal, right within 20 seconds of the restart in the second half. He struggled yesterday in little positional moments, little bit of awareness, the immaturity that he showed, and that's down to age. But there was a nice moments defensively. I felt before the Nunes penalty giveaway, there was a couple of clearances from him that were quite nice. He was getting involved and helping in that situation. But I mean, yeah, he struggled. He struggled yesterday, but he's a kid. We forgive him, but he's got to get a 5.5. Rico, I've given him a 6, and I know people are going to disagree with that. I was speaking to my dad actually about it, and he thinks he had a poor game. I don't think he had a poor game, but I do think he could have done a lot more. But I felt like his work rate was brilliant. That error led to a shot. No. I mean, that just goes because he was the closest player to that particular scenario. It was actually Savinho's under-hit pass to Rico Lewis that gave the Sporting Lisbon the opportunity to intercept and send Victor Gyökeres away. It was clearly, anyone who's played football will understand that that's an under-hit. Even the commentators who are former players were suggesting, having watched the game back now myself, I've listened to what the general pundits have said, it was Savinho under-hitting that pass. I'm sorry. If you've played the game, you'll understand. At any level, you will understand an under-hit pass is very difficult to deal with, but if you manage to get a touch on it, statistically, it goes down as the player who was receiving the pass's fault. Nah, no way. I've put it on there for clarity, to be clear with you, but he's got 2 tackles, 4 key passes. You know, he's trying to pull strings. I mean, this is from a player who's playing as a right-back, hybrid defensive midfielder, and he's got the most key passes in our team. So, yeah, I don't think he had a bad game yesterday, but his work rate was good. But again, defensively, out of position numerous times, 6 out of 10 for Rico. Gundogan came on for 13 minutes, nothing to speak of. Gave the ball away once that I was fuming with in the second half. Yeah, it's difficult to judge him on 13 minutes of football, so I'm not going to be too harsh on him. 6 out of 10 for Gundo. Kovacic, another 6. Felt like he struggled at times, positionally, caught out, you know. But, I mean, that's the game we play. That's the liabilities that Pep Guardiola puts onto the pitch with this system. And without Rodri there, it exposes the likes of Kovacic in these counter-attacking moments. But he was trying. He certainly wasn't directly at fault for any of the goals. But yeah, Kovacic is not having a good couple of weeks. In fairness to him, he's not getting. You know, there were 2 or 3 weeks ago he was scoring goals and winning matches for us. But yeah, it's dipped a little bit for Kovacic. But yeah, a disappointing night all round, really. So 6 out of 10 for Kovacic. Nunes, giving him a 5.5, gave away the penalty. That's a lot of why his score has been harmed. He was good in the first half. I thought he was solid. in the first half. He gets a 5.5 for that penalty giveaway because it was two crazy moments. One where he got caught on the ball as he's bringing it out of the penalty box. You think, how much time do you want, mate? You fucking hell, you had your pocket picked, and then you turned round and then start pulling on the arm of, I think it was Goncalves who went down eventually for the penalty. It was a soft penalty, but it's a penalty nonetheless. If I'm a Sporting fan or a City fan and it was at the other end of the pitch, I'd be screaming for it. So yeah, ball retention really good, 98%, not bad at all. Key passes, not bad. Tackles, good. Ground duels is lower than what we've grown to expect of Matheus Nunes. Created a big chance, but I mean, yeah, I can't ignore the penalty because that killed the game. It was game over at that point, obviously. Foden, 7 out of 10, man of the match. Back to, not his best, but certainly back to a standard that I can be pleased about at least. You know, I thought his attitude was good in the first half. I was very critical of him in the Bournemouth game. He was high-fiving Bernardo Silva for a misplaced pass that he made, and I appreciate that. I like to see those sort of things, you know, where you seem a little bit more team camaraderie, where it's a bit more connected as a unit. And I mean, how many goals? We could have scored 4 or 5, and he was at the heart of everything we did well in that first half. I do feel like he's in a new role right now. He's collecting the ball a lot deeper, playing more of an 8 role than a 10 role lately. But yeah, got the goal. A little bit fortunate. I felt like Israel got out of the way, if anything, really. But I mean, still, back of the net it goes. Phil Foden gets a goal. Long term, yeah, if he carries on playing like that, I think City can start clawing their way back to some sort of form that is positive. But he's got to keep it going now. We can't have one game on, one game off, because the Bournemouth game is still there. I still remember it, but this was a definite step in the right direction for Phil Foden. De Bruyne comes on for 12 minutes. 3 shocking crosses, by the way. He put in 1 that's gone down as a pass, actually, and 2 technically went down as a crosses because of where they came from the pitch. But he was trying to pull strings, but I've put the possession lost on there because 12 minutes of football and you've lost the ball 7 times and 83% possession. You know, what's Pep even doing bringing him on at that point? What was the point at 4-1 down to bring on Kevin De Bruyne? You know, we could have brought him on half an hour to go and give us a chance when the game's 3-1. You know, give us a chance, and if that's the purpose. But why bring him on for 7 minutes? Oh, 12 minutes it actually was if you include stoppage time. But what was the point? I didn't get it. And he didn't exactly fill me with confidence going forward. But again, 12 minutes of football, pretty cruel to judge someone on 12 minutes of football. But he was trying to pull strings, and yeah, it wasn't working. 6 out of 10 for De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva, another 5.5. He got 5.5 against Bournemouth. He needs a rest. I said he should have been rested. I felt like it should have been Doku on the left, Savinho on the right, or either vice versa, whichever way. Nunes in the middle, Foden in the middle. That's what I want to say. I wanted to see before the game, and I still maintain that that's what should have happened, because I felt like he was struggling to do anything positive in the game. Work rate is never in question with Bernardo Silva. I appreciate him coming out and facing the music at the end of the game, getting under the microphone as he did before the game and saying that Manchester City are in a dark place. I appreciate the honesty from Bernardo Silva. I think that's respectable and commendable. But the performance on the pitch yesterday was still way below the standards we want. But 4 tackles, good defensive contribution there, but still, nothing going forward. Nothing at all from Bernardo Silva. So we need to see more, and I think he needs a rest. But will he get it against Brighton? Probably not. Probably not. Jeremy Doku, 13 minutes of football we're talking about again. It's very little to speak of. He was lively, tried a few dribbles, 3, completed 2 of them. Yeah, 6 out of 10 for Jeremy Doku. Savinho, I've given him a 6.5 because his game was like this, mate. Up and down in terms of quality. Those moments he was bringing the ball down. I remember one right on the touchline. Silky touch. He just brings it down. Long diagonal ball. First touch just kills the ball dead. Second touch, beautiful backspin on it. Such a satisfying move to watch as a fan, as a spectator. Knocks it past his fullback. Was unlucky not to cut that back to Nunes and probably would have made that 2-0. Little moments and glimpses that we see from Savinho, like, wow, this guy's a player. And then he takes his time on the ball. And then he makes stupid decisions. You know, going and get involved when he won a free kick and charges after the player, pushes him in the back and gets himself booked. And he has to come off because Pep's thinking he's going to get himself sent off in a minute. You know, and he was throwing himself about. Again, after getting a yellow card, he's got to cool his jets. You know, he's got to sort it out. His temperament's all over the place. Decision-making, all over the place. His shooting technique, all over the place. But these moments of absolute brilliance, just scintillating to watch. It's exciting. So I still very much believe there's a worldie of a player there in Savinho. But he's got to up his game. I mean, first season syndrome under Pep Guardiola, every player seems to go through these mixed spells. Gvardiol was the same at the start of last season. Second half of last season, Gvardiol just kicked on and became a worldie. Look at him now. Obviously, last night wasn't a great performance from Gvardiol, but I mean, consistently over a longer period of time, we're talking about the second season of players quite often start to see to bear fruits. And I feel like Savinho will do exactly that, but frustrating is the best way to describe Savinho right now, because you can see what he's all about. There is so much potential there, but he's got to sort out this decision making. Be quicker with the decisions. Don't linger too much on the ball. You see a player pass the ball, if you see an opportunity to shoot. Just dilly-dallying and trying to do a little bit over showmanship. Just do the right thing, do the basics right. That's more of an important factor in this side right now. Back to basics. 6.5 for Savinho, one of our better players yesterday, and he's getting a 6.5. Haaland, 4. Sorry, mate. Stinker. You can't be missing chances like that. You can't be missing a penalty at 3-1 down. And he didn't look like he even wanted to take it. There was a moment where I thought Bernardo Silva, the last player on the pitch I want to see taking a penalty is Bernardo Silva. And I thought Haaland was giving him the ball at one point to give him, do you even want to take this, Haaland? What is your confidence shook right now? Surely not. Because this man seemed unbreakable, mentally unbreakable. And I believe he still is. I still think he's going to go on and probably become the Golden Boot winner for Manchester City. But yesterday was a continuation of 2 big chances. He had 2 big chances against Bournemouth. Shocking misses. I mean, the volley in the first half with the right foot, it was like a goal width wide of the goal. It's not even close, mate. Why are you taking it so early? Just calm. He used to be so calm. And we're talking about 3 or 4 games now of Erling Haaland really, really struggling. And it was a massive hindrance to the whole side yesterday, because if he just puts one of those away, it kills the game. 2-0 kills that game yesterday. He needed to take one of them. And then the opportunity with the penalty, you've got to be burying that, mate, at 3-1. And we end up losing 4-1 because the momentum completely swings back in Sporting Lisbon's favour. So I've got to give him a 4. It's 100% passing accuracy, though. That's, if you're wondering, that's 6 passes out of 6. For Haaland. So, yeah, not a great day at the office for Manchester City. Do I believe we will bounce back? Yes. When? I'm not sure it's going to be against Brighton. I've got a bad feeling this may get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. But that's the point. I do think it will get better. Is the damage, are we in a bit of a damage limitation period right now? Get to that international break. Prevent any more. As I said in the preview for this game, stop the rot. We haven't. We have failed to stop the rot. The rot is spreading. And it's getting worse. But yeah, Bernardo Silva, I respect what he said at the end of the game. We are in a dark place and we need to search for the positivities that we can take from the game. And they were there in the first half. And I still feel that if City go and beat Brighton, that's a statement and a half, that would be. If we beat Brighton and do it convincingly, that will be big. That is huge. I'm struggling to see if we can come away with all 3 points. I'll be reasonably pleased with a draw. Which is saying something. Because, I mean, that's not who we are at the minute. I mean, it's who we've become lately, and certainly in the last couple of weeks, where I was hoping for a 3-3 draw with Sporting Lisbon. I'm now talking about a Brighton game where I think, a draw wouldn't be that bad. It keeps Liverpool within touching distance, doesn't let them get 5 or 6 points clear. It keeps it to 4 or 5 rather than 6 or 7. Arsenal, they've got difficult games coming up. You hope they drop points in the process as well, but we've got to get to this international breaks. But if we beat Brighton, that's huge. And I think that the momentum that we could gather, as long as we get these players back, obviously no Rodri, but Diaz and Stones and Grealish, seeing them come back will be a massive, massive boost for the squad. What do you think of the player ratings, Blues? What do you think of the circumstances of Manchester City? Do you believe the season is over? Do you believe Manchester City can go and still win the Premier League or the Champions League or both? I mean, we're not talking trebles, are we? Come on, let's be realistic. Anyway, let me know in the thoughts. Get your thoughts in, comments below. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up Silva.